we're going to build a 3D split animation with HTML and CSS3. Before we begin, quick reminder, I do a live stream every day at 2 p.m. Eastern. Visit ojambo.com, check the watch menu, live menu for the topics for this and upcoming topics. And also you can join the live chat. For example, as you can see here, for this particular tutorial, you just click the link. It will take you to the live stream where you can join and post anything about programming or lifestyle topics. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. Okay, so we're going to create a stunning CSS3 3D split animation. You can see an example here. When you hover, it's actually going to split the image. So we're not going to use multiple images, we're going to use one image. And in this particular case, I'm splitting it only into 3, but you can split it as many times as you want. I will show you how to do that in the code. Okay, so in order to follow along with this tutorial, you just need a basic understanding of HTML and CSS. If you need help with HTML or CSS, I'm here. Just post some comments, or if you need help, I'll show you some resources at the end of this tutorial. So stick around. You need a code editor. I also recommend you get at least a programming text editor. Most people like to use the most basic editors. Those are pretty okay if you're using something like a post system, like for example Linux, Mac OS. But if you're using, for example, Windows, especially for example the default, I think it's called Notepad, that one could mess up the code, and so I do recommend there's so many free open source editors. You shouldn't have a problem. For example, you can use Guinea. It's a lightweight IDE. It's cross-platform. Use that one. There's VS Codium. There are so many programming text editors. I said they're free and open source. So use those instead. Don't use a word processor. Those are actually the worst. And any image you want to animate. So because of copyright issues, trademarks, and etc., the images I'm going to be using going forward are always going to be generated locally using either myself, I create those images, or they're images I created using the AI, usually Stable Diffusion, or there could be images which are the licenses allow me to do that. For example, like usually in open source software, they do allow you to do that. Or for example, there are sources also where they are their license allows me to reuse them even for commercial purposes. All right, so just be aware of the license restrictions as well. So now also when you just a little caveat, if you use an image that an AI generated, especially one of those cloud ones, I'll give you an example. So I was testing something recently and I asked for a video thumbnail, and the video thumbnail it came up with actually had it said YouTube on top of it, and clearly the AI grabbed it from a YouTube video. So that's clearly, that opens up a huge, I can't even explain how many problems are. So that's why I said be careful when you just grab images off the internet. There are license restrictions, or there could be. So as I said before, we're going to split the image into multiple slices, each wrapped in a container that can be animated individually. So the code for HTML is here, and then for styling, that's the core CSS. I split that for the 3D effect. I split that so this way you can grab the code. It's easier to learn when things are split up, so that way, for example, you can even put the CSS in a separate file and you can tweak it to your heart's content. And then you can see it in action. So as you can see, I do have a preview right here as well. Watch what happens when I put my mouse over it. You see what happens there? Look at that. You see that? As I said, so the CSS, you can change the background to whatever you want. I chose black background because this is the image is a typical skyscrapers in a so-called city these days. So you can see, so the black background works pretty well. Now if this was probably during the day, probably a more light background would work, but you can use any background you want. I'll show you how to do all that. So just pure CSS. There's no JavaScript in this particular tutorial. It's just CSS3 and HTML just for the markup. And this is the live stream video. We'll come back to this later. You can see the background here is white. So as I said, you can change all that with CSS. All right, now let's get started. So I have a folder here. It's called CSS, and this is the image I'm using. You see, it's just it's a hyperlink to when I generated the images. This is just a city landscape. That's all I requested. So that's what we're going to use. And this is the one which it's called split image animation HTML. That's the one we're going to use as well. So I put it here. I'm going to zoom in so people on vertical screens can see this better. So as you can see, doc type for HTML, then just HTML5. In the head section, let's put a char set, a UTF-8. I don't need to do this because I'm using, I said, Fedora Linux. But if you're on Windows, you most likely have to add this here. And then for the char set, the viewport, I set to width, device width initial scale set to 1. This is so that you can on your mobile phone it will be scaled properly. If you don't do that, it's going to get the desktop view, so it'll be really tiny. So I wanted to get it scaled to the entire width of the mobile device. Usually it's a phone. Tablets are pretty good, intermediate between desktop and the phone. Let me say they have a big screen, so it won't be so bad looking. And just give it a title. This is not necessary. The title is one will show up, for example, this one up here in the web browser tab. That's the title. The title is CSS 3D split image animation. And here's my styling. I styled the H2. I just aligned it in the center, text align center. Here's a container. You see the perspective is 1000. You just need a large number, so 1000 pixels works well. I gave the width and height. The width is 400 pixels. The height is 300 pixels. Position relative. There isn't position relatives because we're going to use positioning for the other images. So for the children, but the parent just position relative. It could also be position absolute. The only thing it can't be is fixed. Actually, fixed. I think fixed will work as well. And the other word sticky. Sticky will not work. And then the margin, I just put everything in the center. So margin 0 auto means that it will be auto left and right, and top and bottom will be 0 margin. Okay, and each slice, it will be position absolute. Like I said, it's a child of the container. The width is 100, and the height is 300 pixels because this image is going to be it's a landscape image. So we'll just slice them. Each will be 100 pixels here, and you see we use the background image. And then a URL to the image. In this case, it's relative to where this HTML file is, and the background size 400 pixels, 300 pixels. Meaning this means that the image is, as I said, it's landscape, so it's 400 pixels by 300 pixels, 400 pixels wide, 300 pixels high. And the transform style, perspective -3D. The transition will be transform 0.5 seconds and ease. What that means is that when you put your mouse over, like right here, it's gonna take, you see, it's gonna take half a second and it's gonna ease. That's the transform property we're using. So you see, we're gonna split it. We slice one, left 0, background 0, 0, meaning that this is the left one here. And then slice 2, that's here you can see it's 100 pixels, and background position -100. So we start -100, meaning that it's going to ignore the first 100 pixels. The second one will start at 200 pixels, background position -200. You get the point. And then the last one is 300 pixels. Background is -300. Just a second, I will call. Ed speaking. Hello? It says it's for the Scarborough, but it must have been a scam. Or someday, as my sister calls it, bad dialing. Okay, so the container, we hover. If you hover over the container, remember the entire thing is a container here. So when you hover over it, the first slice, it's going to be transformed. It's going to be -15 degrees. The second slice is going to be just a slight one. It's going to be -5 degrees. and in the third slice it's going to rotate 5 degrees, and the fourth slice is going to rotate 15 degrees. So those are 4 slices. So if you need more slices, you just add them there. So as you can see here, I have 4 slices, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe, let me make sure I got this correctly. Yeah, so there we go. So slice, you see, each of them are slices, then slice 1, slice 2, slice 3, slice 4. When you have classes, you can add more classes too. That's why it's better to sometimes it's better to use classes instead of ID, because you can have multiple classes. You can only have one ID attribute, but for classes you can have multiple classes. So it makes it easier when you're targeting them using the CSS style sheet. Okay, so that's it. Now all you need to do is, you don't need a web server for this, of course, unless you are putting it on a remote server. You can just simply drag this into your web browser. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use the Chromium web browser. This is here, and then I'm just going to go drag this. You can drag it into here, and there we go. Just be careful here. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that people who are on vertical screen can see this. So you can see that's our full image. It's just a background image. And when I do this, if you notice, there's 4 slices. So the first slice is on the left, then in the middle there's a slice, and then or in the middle there's 2 slices. If you can see, there's this tiny one, and then the one at the end. So if you notice, the one in the middle, remember that one? It had a very little. The degree was, I think, the degree was only 5 degrees. So very subtle, but it's still there. You can actually, if you check up here, you can see right here. See when I take it off, it's very subtle. So if you blink, you might actually miss it, and then you can see a line right in the middle here, because as I said, it's a very simple slice. So that's it. It's a very simple animation here. There we go. Very simple animation. Now you could do more of this. For example, if I had more images, you could also split this even more. For example, if you had, you could split this into 10 slices, each of give them, so you can make this like round. So it, I saw one where it looked like a carousel. No, not carousel. Yeah, a little bit like a carousel. It was really, really nice. It was like a deck of cards, just split all the way like this, like in like an S shape. So I could have done that, but that would have had a lot of code or some fancy stuff for JavaScript. I wanted to keep this very, very short, just to show you that you don't always just have, you don't need to always have some boring, just an image. I'll give you an example. Let me go take a look at. Oh, that's weird. I thought I had some. Oops, the screenshots didn't show up here. I will. I don't know why that. I don't know why that's like that. Yeah, 2 screenshots are missing here actually, but I'll put them up once I finish this tutorial. Yeah, there should be 2 screenshots here. So what I was going to say is that instead of having just boring screenshots, you can do something like this, just a little subtle animation, just to make your images or your screenshots pop out a little bit. So that's it. It's a very simple tutorial. The code is there. For example, yeah, you can just expand and then grab the HTML code and the CSS code. That's it. All right. So how much time has been? Okay, so let's finish this up. So if you want to learn more, if you're interested in diving deeper into JavaScript and front-end programming, I have some great resources for you, as I promised. Before I do that, I want to prove to you that this is live. Time has been okay, so let's finish this up. Yeah, there we go. So it's live. It says it's a simple delay. So you can check out my book, Learning JavaScript. It's available on Amazon. It's perfect for beginners looking to master the fundamentals. There's also a course called Learning JavaScript, available on ojamboshop.com. Step-by-step online lessons and practical projects available on ojamboshop.com. The link is also in the description. And if you need personalized help, I'm available for one-on-one programming tutorials in JavaScript. Reach out anytime. You can contact me at ojambo.com/contact. It's also in the description. So feel free to experiment with the code and customize the animation to fit your style. happy coding. So that's it. That's the tutorial. Just a quick reminder that every day I do a live stream, so just go to jumbo.com and then you can go to Watch Many Live Summit. You can see the topic for this and upcoming tutorials. All right, and also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And also, some of you have requested some things which I'm working on, and those should show up within the next 2 weeks. And also, I do have another recommended resource. I live in a rural area and I work in a rural area as well. So the internet where I am is not very good, the local internet. I already know that. So I use SpaceX Starlink, the residential service. So if anywhere you are on the road and if you're thinking of getting the residential service, you can use my referral link. If you actually purchase through my referral link, I'll get 1 month free, and you also get a discount depending on your geographical location. I think I read somewhere it's like it could be 1 month up to 3 months, or some of you might get a discounted might get the discounted hardware. My hardware is the 2nd generation, in case you are interested. So the service works extremely well. I've used it during the winter storms, snowstorms, thunderstorms. It's been rock solid. This past winter was actually very, very harsh. We had like 2 frost days, and then the snow was right up like above my knee. But I still had to go, look after the chickens, and the Starlink was perfectly fine. It didn't skip a bit. I've told this story a few times as well. I actually forgot to turn on the snow melt. I switched it off because I was trying to save some power, and it still worked perfectly fine. And I also use it for my phone as well. As I said, because I'm in a rural area, the signal's weak, so I do use Wi-Fi calling. And as you guys just heard, somebody just called me. You remember? I don't know if it was a bat dial or something. And just to prove to you that it does work, I'm going to show you here. There we go. You see, I do have Wi-Fi calling. Come on, focus down. There we go. You can see the little phone icon there. So that means I'm using on the Wi-Fi. So I'm using Wi-Fi calling, and you see it worked perfectly fine. What else? Oh, I'm going to show this as well. I also have this book I created this year. It's a novelette. It's called The Algorithmic Serpent. It's about a scientist who creates an AI, and he loses control, and he has to regain control. So there it goes. Jumbo. It's available on Amazon right now. It's available in paperback and ebook version. If you have Kindle Unlimited, I can get it for free. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to end this tutorial now, and I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Checking the live chat. There's no chat request, so I'll see you in the next one. Have a great